From cost to capacity. Talk me through it.
Cost to capacity. Actually, we were having this conversation yesterday at Fed Forum, actually, with a customer, and it sort of comes in two parts, I think. One is a little bit, organizations still burdened with poor technology practices. That's tying them up, like we were just talking about in the first topic. But the second part is actually, how am I going to, there's no organization that I know that says I've got all the people to do all the work that I possibly need. All right. And so the conversation we're having at the moment is going, actually, if I could give them a new set of digital skills, which I think is completely possible, they've got great organizational awareness. They know they've got history and understanding of the organization. Now we give them ability to solve problems. We can start to get to some of the untapped problems that we weren't able to do because we're sort of untying them from that complexity. So everybody wants to create capacity. Have we really achieved those goals yet? Not yet. I would say where in the next 12 months, we'll see some really interesting use cases in that space.
I feel like this is one that people are going to have a little bit of an allergic reaction to because every conversation we are in, people are still talking about reducing cost. And so categorically, that is still a conversation that is happening. I think here it's just a little bit of a nuance. Yeah. The reducing cost is more about reducing the waste. So let's not spend on technology that's not actually being used or not delivering value to the business. Let's not throw people at problems that we don't need to solve. Yeah. Where the nuance is shifting is, to your point, we know we're going to grow. So how do we create capacity to innovate, to bring new products to market, to accelerate bringing products to market? There's always going to be cost out conversation, but it's not just about taking cost out.
But I think it's also, there's the ability just to drive continuous improvement, actually accelerate the business. But we're not able to do that because we're so tied down in the existing practices. So if we can free people up and they can start solving the problems, we're going to create a whole lot of new capacity. And this is where like some of the stuff like GenAI is really interesting. And again, this customer yesterday, just case summarization. How many people, type, we finished the case and we just type resolved or closed. Well, actually, now we can get something meaningful. That means we are able to get more knowledge into the organization, means the next time we're having the same conversation with our employees or customer, we've actually got real information we can use. That, in my mind, is really interesting about how do we get more capacity back in the organizations through very simple capability.
So has capacity become the new currency for innovation then?
In my mind, yeah. I think, and with the advent of the sort of, the ability to write code and build applications. And so David 30 was talking about this recently with a board. They basically forced the board members, forced is a strong word, got the board members.
So did they use golf clubs?
Well, I don't know about golf clubs, but they got them to build live websites through effectively.
The board built live websites.
Yeah. So David built a board.
That's impressive.
Yeah, exactly right. So if you can get board members thinking that way, we can certainly get employees doing it. They don't, and we don't need to have that digital skills because the new tools are allowing us to do it in a very different way.
So are we going to run agentic building workshops for boards now? That sounds like fun.
It could be
on the golf course.
On the golf course,
over a glass of champagne.
Done. Deal.
Now we're talking.
Topic 3.
Well, no, before we go on to topic 3, because this is one of my, so I'm not a massive fan of PowerPoint slides, but there are a handful that you and I use on a regular basis. And one of them is one of my all-time favorite slides that ties in perfectly to this shift from cost to capacity. And that is the fact that over the last 4 years, ServiceNow has doubled the size of the employees. Yes. We've doubled the size of our revenue in our business. So we have grown at incredible pace. And yet the headcount supporting our IT and HR service teams has remained stable. And the reason we've been able to grow our company at that rate and not throwing people at the problem is because at every step of the way, we've used automation, then machine learning, then AI, and now into agentic to create that capacity and unlock the ability to scale. And for me, whenever we talk about that shift from cost to capacity and creating capacity to scale, I think we are probably one of the best examples in the market.
Yeah, I think it's very true. And everyone does love that slide. But it only comes from the fact that we've had a relentless focus on automation. We are single-mindedly focused about how every time we look at it, where's the opportunity to automate? And I think that mindset for businesses is really important if we're going to achieve that outcome.
And the fact that we're never done. It's continually looking for ways in which we can create more capacity or do it better, smarter, faster.
Yeah, it's like the old CMDBs. They're never perfect, all right? But you've got to have the processes in place and you've got to have the mindset of how do we continue to evolve these things. And I think if you bring that at the same level into automation, then I think we can get very different outcomes.
Can't believe you just used CMDB in this podcast.
You can cut it out.
I don't cut anything out. You know this.